Hey everyone. I just want to say that my audio is completely messed up for the first part of this, so it's like a few minutes in it gets fixed, I would say. It was just a total mess because, ironically enough, this mic I'm using died, which was horrible, and it was super echoey for my setup, and then it made this horrible demonic noise. And it was loud, so I cut it out. And then I actually used my other mic, which was way clearer, so that's why I'm voicing over this part. Just to explain, I'm building a village in survival, and I go on this whole yapathon about Minecraft, but basically, I started with 10 villager eggs and a bell, and I'm going to be building a village with some requirements, like I need to provide them, with like at least a 5x5x5 area, crafting table, a bed, a job block, at least like give them an option to have like a occupation, and then I may do like a hero of the village thing, but TLDR, Mike totally messed up for this first little part, but then it will come back in, and I'll be like, oh, sorry guys, my mic was messed up, and you have no idea how true that was. If you want to skip to it, I don't know, I can't see it from where I'm editing from. Just skip ahead until you hear super loud voice, and you'll find it'll be like nighttime or something. Anyways, that's all. Bye. Oh yeah, and John. Okay, I checked. It's like 4 minutes. Just go like 4 minutes into the video, and you'll pretty much be there. Like 4 minutes and something. So yeah, if you want a normal, just skip it like 2 minutes ahead or something. So yeah, we got some cobblestone. I got some coffee. And yeah, so we're going to be working on getting some more wood, probably getting some coal, because honestly, I have some iron, but coal is in pretty short supply. I only got a little bit at the beginning, and I burned right through it. So yeah, let's get going. Oh yeah, I may later on like give myself like hero of the village. It's like the two concentrated. I'm definitely gonna die. I gotta attack my people. Can't let them live for free. That's ridiculous. Like saying foods are right. I mean, who actually thinks that? All right. Anyway. Oh. I think my cord is my microphone. But I stopped that. But, oh well. I have this interesting thing in my brain where if I go through this crafting table, I think something new is going to appear. Some like OP item that I can get. Obviously not. That is just me being sporadic. And it's nice. Wonderful. Just wonderful. I'll just dying. Come on, they say Okay, sorry everyone. That was horrifying. My other mic died. It's like a wireless one. I didn't charge it very well. Very well prepared, as you can see. And
the sounds of demons spawning within the earth just manifested. That was loud. Like, oh my god. I thought my mics got too close together and like my other mic activated and it was like recording a recording of a recording of itself. But no, that was I don't know what that was. That was so weird. I guess it because it died mid audio, but you would think that would just cut it out. But no, it manifested a layer of hell upon my OBS settings. Oh boy. What a great start. I planted some trees. Hopefully I can get that going. So something that's going to be important here is actually a sheep farm. Not just because cushions. Actually, are cushions here? This is technically the most recent snapshot, I think. Unless I don't know. Cushion? No, I don't know. Anyways, not for cushions, but actually for beds, because as I stated before, we have to give all the villagers beds. Should I go outside or? I mean, it'd be kind of boring if I didn't. That was weird. Yeah, I mind a bit, so. But yeah, I was sort of thinking about, like, because, there was the whole discourse around copper tools and stuff. And are my music settings on? There's, like, no music. It just feels a little weird. Like, there's, like, none. Oh, well. But yeah, I was thinking a bit about, like, the copper tools and stuff. And, like, because people were talking about like where they fit in Minecraft and like the progression system. I was playing Bedrock earlier, like the other day, and the generation is definitely different. I don't know the precise like mechanics or like lines of codes to determine that, but it's definitely different because on Bedrock I took a long time to find iron, to the point where I had copper tools for a while, and like it felt like it honestly felt like in Bedrock there almost was progression missing, which is vastly different on Java. And I literally was thinking about like, nah, copper tools are great. I literally like my whole view shifted on them because of that experience, and then I immediately found like a ton of iron really quickly. And I was like, well, that's a little embarrassing. But then I was like, that must be like a Java Bedrock generation thing. I know some people will say like, well, technically before copper, iron was more common, but honestly, I think during caves and cliffs, the whole generation system got like upheaved anyways, kind of. So I don't know how much that would matter. Oh, I got string. One thing I have come to value though is why am I forgetting the name? Bundles. I didn't really know how to feel about them, but I'd say they're very well designed, honestly. Like bundles, they're very smart in the sense that one of the Minecraft's issues is the assortment and like increasing number of items, right? In terms of like different items, and like there's the option of like just increase the inventory size, but I would say that that isn't how the game was designed. So when you do that, you're inherently going to bring in some issues, and the UI would probably get a little wonky And like even the chests are based around being like the same as the players, because it's like is it 7? No, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. I'm silly. It's like 10 by 4, right? So I think even the chests are like designed around being like the same. So increasing the inventory size is also kind of a non-answer to Minecraft's problem, because the real problem isn't needing to be able to carry more stacks of the same item. It's not actually the number of items itself, it's the number of types of items. Because inventory management is a part of the game. It is like a part of the game balance, right? Well, let me put some of this. Also, I don't think you can craft saddles on Bedrock unless I was just playing with a weird game setting. Genuinely don't know. But what bundles do is really cool, is they don't actually give you more inventory space in the traditional sense. What they do is allow you to use a slot to carry any types of items. It's still only 64, but it allows you to, it fixes a early game issue, which what I'm dealing with right now is having a ton of different items, which can get very annoying very quickly. And I like how for some of the items you can actually store non-stackables. It's usually like these container items when they're not containing anything specifically, because if you fill this water bucket up, you can't then contain the water bucket. But that's actually very nice, and I almost think they should play into that more, I would say. But yeah, I think that's pretty interesting. But yeah, I think that in terms of the bundle, I think it's very well done actually. After actually using it, because I was kind of playing on Bedrock, I was kind of playing like nomadically, where I didn't want to stay in one place for a long time, because you kind of just get used to where you are and don't really explore as much. A lot of people, they just settle down, go mining, and then set up farms and just get an infinite of everything. Which is, I think, one reason why SMPs die so fast a lot of the time, especially after you beat the Ender Dragon, is because a lot of the time you farm everything. Like, you set up farms for everything, you build your mega bases and stuff, and then pretty much all that's left is like interactions with your friends, right? That's like a hermitcraft and stuff. That's generally why I think they're able to last longer than most people, is because they have like a whole interaction and communities and kind of soft rules to keep everything flowing nice. So it's daytime. I should probably get to doing something. But yeah, Minecraft's a weird game, I think, because it's kind of, I think, undergoing a bit of an identity crisis. Okay, now the music comes in. I have no idea if this is as bad for you guys as it is for me. Okay, is that better? I think that's better. Okay, now it's not as bad. But yeah, I think Minecraft's kind of undergoing an identity crisis because the old features were made with a very different philosophy. Whether it's like Notch or old Mojang, because you have to remember like how they design stuff. Like, and this might be actually controversial. I like the Phantom. The only thing I'll say, and I think I don't know if they fixed this or not, but my only issue with the Phantom really is like on servers. I do think it's an issue when like you can't sleep. I don't know if they fixed that. I don't play on servers. But other than that, I don't have an issue with Phantoms. I think a lot of Minecrafters are just averse to any added challenge that isn't purely optional, right? Because people are talking about like, would the creepers be added? And the answer is probably not. No. And people were going after the creeper because they were comparing it to the Phantom, but that's the thing. The Phantom, I don't think, is actually a bad mob. If your opinion on it is it would be liked if it was added at the beginning of the game, then to be honest, you don't actually have an issue with the mob itself. Because like, the idea of creepers is they sneak up on you, they literally blend in, right? And then they get up to you and they explode and they damage your build, right? And that's the issue. No one can really answer what Minecraft should be. Notch had ideas for like to make it more RPG like I think there was the whole like Nether Dragon idea. And so sometimes people say like, well, it's not supposed to be an RPG, but the original creator had ideas for it to be, and it does have some RPG elements. Now it does have, of course, survival elements. But I think people often kind of just throw around like, they kind of simplify Minecraft to like one of the various things that make it up, because it's this weird Frankenstein's monster where it went through a lot of different creators' visions, and anyone who tries to claim that like it's solely this or solely that anymore, there's just it just doesn't quite hold up either way, because it is in truth just this weird amalgamation of things. I always get distracted when I'm yapping like this, but wait, can I make wool? Do I have string? I only have one string. Did I had other string? I had other string, I know I did. I'm gonna need a sheep. Do I have to kill some of these animals to chance a sheep spawn? Wait, didn't I see a black sheep earlier? Like a... I mean that literally, not like metaphorically. Oh, zombie? Okay. But yeah, like, again, people talk about like as if there's some obvious thing Minecraft is supposed to be. It's supposed to be, you know, sandbox creative. It's supposed to be a survival game. Because Mojang's weird because they take on sort of this like environmentalist, sort of overly player friendly. And this is kind of the issue. The Minecraft community part of it wants a substantial change to gameplay because Minecraft's progression is gone static because it inherently is very it's a very old game design, which isn't bad or anything inherently, but at a certain point content other than the main progression starts to bloat the game where there's so much to do but so little is needed. And like no one actually wants to like change the main progression. They don't want to make it harder to beat the game. Because the point of the end is to provide a sense of completion. And ultimately Minecraft has outgrown what's needed to, you know, get that sense of conclusion. You know, because obviously it could always go on forever, but the end was meant to provide a sort of, you got up to this point, you can kind of quit any time now, right? Because you beat the dragon, right? That was the idea. So I think when people say they want change, but they don't want change. And I think it's to do with this sort of fragmented identity Minecraft has between these sort of because you know how like old games were, right? Like old arcade games were very user unfriendly in a sense, and old Minecraft was very much fell in line with that. And obviously it's become a lot more user friendly. I can't think of the exact word I'm trying to describe. It's the sort of unpolishedness mixed with like a lack of user friendliness that gives old games that vibe, right? That, like, obviously new Minecraft has lost over time, and because at any time anyone complains about new Minecraft, there's that you can always go back and play old editions, but that it defeats the whole point of criticism. If you couldn't do that, then that would suck, right? Did that just? Oh no, yeah, that was 56, not 60. I thought that just like condensed. I just thought I lost 4 copper in condensing that stack. But I think that like ignores the point of criticism. It's like, oh, don't ignore like what you think is Minecraft's eroding identity. Just if you don't like it, then don't. It's the same thing with like, don't watch it, don't then don't, if you don't like it, then don't watch it. And like those same people, when they don't like something, will go, oh, I'm just providing criticism. You can't have it both ways. Either you at least need a consistent set of standards of when you should criticize something and when you should just not watch it. It's that kind of thing, because like you can always just go before, and like I'm sure the people who complain do like certain newer features, but they miss some features. They miss the way Minecraft felt while still liking enough of the newer features to kind of be conflicted, right? So I think it's pretty reductive to. I don't like the sound that Wolf's making. I don't like that. That's weird. I don't know. It just always bothers me when people do this sort of like reductive conversation, because it doesn't really get us anywhere. It just kind of makes people annoyed. Because like the whole enchanting, fixing weapons, and villager systems are so messed up right now. Like mending, like even outside of like the main progression stuff is really screwed up, and it's because of how much just I think like bloat there is. Because the main path has remained so unchanged for so long, everything around it just turns into a mess. But also there is individual game design decisions that make those bad, don't get me wrong. Okay. I don't know why I thought you could make like a leaf litter block. That'd be kind of cool. That'd be kind of cool if you could make like a leaf litter block. Okay. I don't think I've actually done anything. I've just yapped about the philosophy of Minecraft game design. I do want to actually do stuff. Let's probably start building another house. Oh, I saw a water source block over here, and I was wanting to find that. And of course I remembered that. Ah, there it is. It was over here. That was in the bundle. Brilliant. Do not fall down there. But yeah, because like mending, it's not fun to. It's generally not fun to get villagers. It's not fun to like reshift the job block to get the trade, and then it's not really fun to even like. Finally, you just get to keep the tools, right? And that in and of itself isn't super great, because I think what's important is I think that remaking tools was like the idea, right? I think now obviously I'm not old Mojang. I wasn't there when it happened, but I think that like, oh, you made a good tool, well, you just get more of the materials. Enchanting was kind of like a weird thing. I mean, you use because remember the anvil came after the enchanting table, so you would just use the enchanting table to re-get the thing, and presumably you would get more levels, but eventually, because of how the anvil's designed, things get too expensive, which is a post enchantment table in terms of updates problem. And I like the anvil. I'm not like hating on the anvil, just like the way it's designed. But Mojang is it's one of those things where it's two-pronged. They both make dumb decisions that are worthy of criticism, but at the same time, the community kind of puts them in this no-win scenario where if you look at any substantial change to the main Minecraft gameplay loop, it is immediately met with massive amounts of hate. But why, like, as if like you're supposed to be able to beat the Ender Dragon as quickly as you always have been able to, when that isn't really true necessarily. Why do you have to be able to keep the previous gameplay just because? Like, and it's that like clinging to familiarity. Now you can say that like you can critique the exact implementation of a new thing, of course. I'm not saying you can't, but if it's just because it would make the game take longer, I don't really agree with that. If you had to get some like third thing to make the eyes, and then people went with like, oh well, then everything's mandatory. No, no one said everything had to be mandatory. You just made that up. Maybe some people are. I'm not gonna like generalize. I was getting the bucket, right. I guess this just kind of turned into a video essay with like live relative to me Minecraft gameplay. Let me get this water real quick and then I'll continue my train of thought. I know I've probably left like 70 topics like open and then never like closed them and then just started a new one. Okay, I guess let's go back real quick. Phantoms. Oh, nice. Thanks for the assist. I really didn't want to deal with that. Still don't like the noises you make though. Just straight up. Game of that. I'm gonna grab the water source real quick. Up here. that, like, if I was Mojang, I don't know what I would do, because the main loop, I think, is outdated to a degree. And, like, you know, you could be like, oh, speedrunners will hate it. They don't even play on the most recent versions anyways, so, I mean, honestly. But then, like, again, it's a sandbox game, so by that logic, you could even argue that, like, the end should be harder to get to as the game goes on. Not that every little feature you have to visit every biome, every mechanic, everything, but I think slowly, every few, like, big changes, you could make, like, progression, like main progression, have something more to it, as long as it's, like, fun to do, which is, like, part of the issue. A lot of the progression in Minecraft isn't super fun, like, and that's because it was kind of pushed in and then, like, implemented through, like, 3 different people's visions of what Minecraft is. So, like, the villagers themselves were supposed to be like pig people, and then that became like the zombie pigmen. That's why they're zombie pigmen. But then we have the villagers in the next day, and then, like, villager trading, right? And then there was, like, rubies and stuff, and then there was, like, village and pillage upgrade. But then, like, enchantments were, like, another aspect that were then like, oh, like, the librarian should probably trade enchantments, right? Oh, there's a phantom. My favorite mob in the game. I do not have a bed. Actually, you know what? I hate phantoms now. No, they're fine. I mean, I think they're fine mobs. I mean, you get one enemy at night, which is when you get mobs anyways. And it's like, oh, it messes up AFK farming. I don't really care about AFK farming. You know, just honestly, really, I don't. Because, I mean, I think that, like, again, any, like, challenge that isn't 100% optional, Minecraft players, I feel like, maybe I don't want to, like, generalize here, but it feels like any challenge that isn't 100% optional, Minecraft players just hate it. They hate any aspect of it. The challenge has to just be 100% optional. If there's any sort of, like, oh no, player, you have to deal with this issue and overcome it, it is immediately met with, like, this is awful, this is terrible, right? And, I mean, you could even argue that creepers, like, I mean, if you look at what people make, right? I mean, creepers, like, as you go in the progression, they become less and less of an issue. Having a house and being in the house automatically, you know, helps. Having cats helps, etc. So there's a lot of ways to help that. While phantoms, I mean, cats also help, so. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm off base, but it just feels... that's just how it feels. And I you know, and sometimes those, like, Minecraft isn't fun video essays are silly, of course, but I do think there is something to be said about the, like, kind of conflicting identity Minecraft has, and what it's had for a while. Because, yeah, go to old versions of Minecraft, and, like, it's so just different. You can say, like, I think Minecraft has some pretty great features, especially now. Like, I think they're definitely doing better than they were before. I didn't love the way the mob vote was done either. Yeah, because, like, people were like, why not just implement all of them? And, well, if they had implemented all of them, the Phantom would still be in the game, right? So it's not like the Phantom wouldn't have been in the game. In fact, you could argue that that's kind of why they made it a vote instead of just putting all four, because the community votes on what they want. And if they seem to not at all want something, then maybe that shouldn't be in the game, right? And I think that philosophy definitely has weight. But I also think there's times where you have to tell the players, no, you're wrong. Because, there's that old law that players will optimize the fun out of the game. And you as a designer have to stop them from doing that. You have to make being optimal a fun and diverse experience. Ideally, like in like a fighting game, for example, a good, well-balanced game has multiple options that creates a sort of natural shifting rock paper scissors type environment where one build doesn't just dominate. You have like four builds maybe, and like as one gets more popular, the counter to that build gets more popular, and then the original build becomes less popular because it's getting countered, and then the counter gets less popular, and then the other two builds, people experiment and find new ways. That's like a well balanced, sort of meta in terms of like handling optimization. But like Minecraft is very easy, I would say, to optimize the fun out of the game. And especially in terms of like, oh, that would be challenging on like a surface level, or like initially this mechanic is frustrating because I don't understand it yet and I haven't had the joy of overcoming it. And sometimes you have to, tell your players, no, you may in the right now not like it. It may be, a little frustrating, but it's part of the game that you overcome it. I mean, look at survival mode in general, right? Like, if you really want the most seamless experience building whatever you want, having whatever you want, play creative, right? Right? You could just play creative and have everything you want, but presumably you want some sort of challenge, right? And that's why, like, mobs like the creepers, that's why they're needed, because you are choosing to play survival, which inherently has challenge. And phantoms, they challenge you on a level that other mobs don't. People have insisted that, like, oh, I hate the phantoms. And I think if you're critiquing like server behavior, fair enough. But I would say that it's simple. Just sleep. Like, if you're not on like a server, right? If you're playing a single player, I don't understand. Like, just sleep. Unless you don't have beds like me, but these are usually, I mean, if you're in the position to AFK farm, you're definitely in the position to have literally, 3 wool and 3 wood to make a bed. And it's like, well, I don't want to do that, and again, it's like, oh, my AFK farm. Okay, you have a challenge in survival. Overcome the challenge, right? That's like the whole point. You can say like, oh, it's not well balanced or it's too difficult, but I don't think that that's true. And I don't really think that that's true for phantoms. I would say it's pretty easy in most like situations to like build around something to keep phantoms out. So I've just never understood the complaints beyond like, oh, on a server there's issues, and I'm like, okay, fair enough. I don't know if they fixed that now, but I think the reason why phantoms have remained hated is mostly because of the mob vote debacle, because people were not huge fans of the mob vote. And notice here, I'm not just like defending Mojang, but I'm also not just like hating on the game. I'm not one of those like Minecraft is awful now. For, you know, like I think that this has been a long running issue in the whole game. Let me cook some food. Wait, what? Oh, I thought the 7 cobblestone was like old school iron ore. Okay. I probably will have to start flattening out this area, won't I? Oh, there's water. Nope, that's not water. I'm just hallucinating. Okay. Christmas, just a week away. Alright. Should I was gonna build my village here, but honestly, this kinda sucks. Or it might, you know, it might be a bit of a fixer-up, or, you know, that's what some people call it. Oh, I just wish I had 2 stakes still. Yeah, I guess I'll start digging out and just flattening this area, and then filling in to start, like, really getting... But yeah, this did just kind of turn into me ranting. Next time I'll try and make sure I stay on task while I yak. But, you know, that's just how I be sometimes. I probably will make a copper shovel. Or actually, I can make an iron shovel. And immediately undermine my whole point about, like, how copper tools are actually good. Which is pretty funny. But I still argue that, especially in Bedrock, my Bedrock experience was very eye-opening. I didn't really know how to feel about copper tools, but that bit of, like, empirical evidence, or, you know, at least, you know, empirical in that sense, definitely made me reconsider. Now on Java, it may be less so, because it seems like the iron generation differs greatly. I know some people would be like, "Oh, the seeds are the same," but actually, there are differences. Like there's whole differences. So that is not true that they're the same strictly. They may have on the large scale, but if you go to like specific ores, you're gonna find different things. Oh my god, this actually... Oh yeah, no, I wasn't supposed to do that anyways. I was supposed to get this, not down there. I'll probably go for like an hour. It'll be a nice little first episode. And by that I mean video essay disguised as an episode. But I do think it's interesting to talk about, you know. There's been a lot of discourse recently around Minecraft. But overall too, it's, I was talking about it's an identity. The identity of Minecraft, because it was like a sort of bare... I mean, remember all the creepypastas? That came because of Minecraft's very eerie environment. If you remember, like Alpha or Beta, I think it was foggy, it was barren, it was very lifeless, because very little things happened without the player. Mobs spawned, mobs wandered, and that was about it. That was pretty much all that happened without the player. Now, you have sort of whole, like, ecosystems sort of going on. And, obviously, you know, there's a lot more color, and the way, like, mobs are designed is different. Because, like, which, you know, it's for better or for worse, mob design is different. But yeah, I think the modern form of Minecraft is making the game struggling identity really pop out. Because everyone thinks that they know exactly what Minecraft is. Like, oh, because I think to everyone, Minecraft is something different. So everyone wants to pull Minecraft in what they think it is. And I think that's probably the biggest issue. The people that are talking about, like, or I like to believe, if we take them in good faith, the people that are talking about, like, how, like, Minecraft isn't like how it was before. If we take them, you know, at good faith and assume they're well meaning, um, then we come to the conclusion probably that the game meant something to them, and this isn't like a one person sentiment. There's a it's a large sentiment that, you know, some people like joke about, some people understand, some people disagree with, but it does exist, and I don't think it's fair to be like, oh, they're all dumb or they're all stupid just because Minecraft has had some good updates. But while it might be a good update for a game, the question is it a good update for Minecraft? Which, what is Minecraft? Is it just a survival sandbox game? Is it an RPG? What should Minecraft be? Because if you're gonna say, oh, it's not an RPG, well, you fight monsters, you literally get levels, you enchant items and weapons with magic, you play the role as a builder, you liberate a race of Endermen from a tyrannical dragon. I mean, that is like, that's pretty RPG, right? And at least in a general sense, you know. So if you're gonna say like, well, Minecraft's not an RPG, it's not like they've stopped adding hostile mobs altogether. I mean, granted, the rate has gone down by a lot, like a lot. Um, which I do think is to do with the philosophy and part of like why there's like a kind of clashing identity. But it's not gone entirely, right? Um, I was wanting to get a sheep, but there's like none around. Although to be fair, I did kill the last one I saw. I think. Whoa! Thing's jumping. But the way that thing was jumping was crazy. The stone spear, yeah. And like, look at the like if you're like kind of skeptical about my whole Baron point, it wasn't just the overworld, it was the Nether too for a long time. I'm not saying the Nether update was bad by any means, no, but there is something to be said about the emptiness of old Minecraft. It had that eerie feeling that's pretty non-existent today. The closest thing you might get is like Warden and Skulk, which are kind of eerie. And like, you see remnants of it sometimes, like with the cave noises. But like, think about the cave noises and like, what time they were made. It was a very different time. Here's a question: would cave noises be added in modern Minecraft? And I think the answer is almost certainly no. I don't know if that's a hot take. I don't think cave noises would be added at all. They are a remnant. And like, if you look at Disc 11, Minecraft has had pretty surprising amount of horror aspects when you look at it. Enderman is literally based on Slenderman. There's the disc, broken discs, Disc 11, I think. There's the cave noises. It makes total sense why Minecraft, you know, why like Herobrine existed, right? It wasn't a coincidence. It wasn't just out of nowhere. it was there for a reason. And I think as saying like it's disappointing that Minecraft lost that, I don't think that that's crazy or anything. I don't think that that's like, oh, just go play the older editions. I think that's, again, I think that that's very reductive. Let's do that time. I guess, you know, if a creeper comes over, I will use it to help me clear out some of this area. Shovel. I was gonna make a shovel. Not having that happen. Oh right, I forgot. My insomnia. My sleep schedule incarnate. I'm so dead. Oh, whoa. A little odd. But yeah, I mean, if you just look at like the mob implementations, I mean, look at the ghast, look at the and then like look at what's added recently, the happy ghast, right? I don't think Notch would have ever happened the happy ghast for 1,000 years. The ghast saddle looks like a mod, right? And I don't even mean that in like necessarily an insulting way. It just it looks like a mod, and I think it doesn't help that it's literally based on like the Minecraft movie. Although it's a little weird because you could say like, well, they had it and they had the idea and then they put it in the Minecraft movie. It almost feels like it was made for the Minecraft movie and then put into the game, and not the other way around where it was planned for the game. So yeah, in summary, I think that any conversation that treats people who aren't like don't love the direction Minecraft is going as a whole, even if like there's some pretty cool features, I think it's pretty reductive because it ignores the very real erosion of things like the horror, the sort of like eeriness that was a part of the game, and it wasn't accidental, it was intentional, honestly. The fog, the sort of emptiness, the barren nether ghasts, the disc 11 endermen being based on like slenderman, it was all made to kind of be a bit eerie. And oh yeah, if you want another remnant of like how much the game design has changed, score is basically just how much XP you've ever accumulated, and it's a completely unused feature in the game, right? You know, because like it's reminiscent of old arcade games, which I think is kind of what it was trying to go for. I think, honestly, it almost feels like old Minecraft. You almost kind of think of it like that because it had a score. I imagine like the first few days were a lot more impactful. Like, how many days can you survive, right? All right, day has come. It's like that one Castlevania game. Okay, like that text bar that makes me have to wait like 3 years for it to end every time the day shifts. Other sheep? I really need some sheep, bro. I need it. that a new pig noise? It doesn't sound like a familiar pig noise. But yeah, actually, I kind of want to just get into the whole, like, oh, just play an older version thing. Because to me, that's always, like, even if, like, I agree with some of your points, you saying that, I automatically don't like that. I think that it's, like, it goes into an avenue I don't really like in terms of argumentation. Because the people who say that would almost never apply that universally, or they probably don't have a consistent set of standards other than, like, I like this thing versus I don't like this thing. I mean, imagine if I told you, like, oh, hey, you know Velma? You know, that awful show? Imagine if I told someone, well, if you don't like it, just watch it, right? Like, if you don't like it, then just don't watch it. You would laugh, right? Because it's absurd, right? Because it's terrible. And, like, I don't think it's unfair to be like, oh, it ruins Scooby-Doo. Now, I wouldn't say Minecraft's gone down such an insane rabbit hole. But if people like old Minecraft and are disappointed that there isn't an evolution with the same design philosophy, telling them to go back and play the older ones is a non-answer to their complaints. It's just a way to, like, avoid criticism, while you would never apply that standard to your own criticisms of things you don't like. Know what I mean? Like, I'm sure those people will complain about games, and I'm sure they never were like, oh, well, I just don't like it, so I won't watch it. Because they did like it, and then it became something they didn't like. It's almost never... People almost never criticize things or, okay, that's not true. They rarely stick around to criticize things they just don't like. Consistent remaining criticism almost always comes from the fact that they did once like it, but now they don't, and they want it to return to some state. Now, that doesn't mean it's automatically valid, of course, but it is something to be, there is something to be said there. Whether it's valid or not, should probably be argued on its own terms. Wanna keep the bundle string. I like bundles. I do like bundles. You know what? I can even come to appreciate the jankiness of them. I'll even concede that. Them being kind of janky, where you have to, like, right click to get the most recent thing out of it instead of just it being a perfect inventory menu. I can actually appreciate that to some degree. That feels like something like an old feature that, like, Minecraft would have, instead of it being like a perfect inventory where, like, it's like a chest but just down here. I can appreciate that, honestly. I was in the middle of saying something and then I kind of forgot because I ran out of inventory space, so I had to run back. Oh, I cooked food. Let me get that. Oh, what the heck happened there? I think I accidentally hit my scroll wheel and it just, like, went haywire. But yeah, like, these people would... Okay then. Do phantoms spawn when it rains? Hopefully not. I hope not. That would kind of suck. I think that they don't burn when it rains, of course, but they don't spawn when it rains. I don't think that's how that works. Oh yeah, but yeah, telling someone who wants an evolution of the thing they like telling them to go back and play the thing they like is a complete non-answer. It's like a total non-argument. Because that's not what they're asking for. They want something that was like old Minecraft, but improved upon the same design philosophy instead of what we got, right? Which they're arguing it's not. You can agree or disagree with that sentiment. I think it's silly to act like the exact same design philosophy is present today than there was during like Notch's time, or even like old Mojang's time, or like that transitionary period. I think that would just be like purposefully ignorant almost, or purposeful misunderstanding, but I would say, yeah, obviously there was changes to the design philosophy of the game, for better and for worse. You can argue that all of Notch's ideas wasn't perfect either, of course. But he did have a vision, a very specific vision that people found appealing, obviously, because his roots are what made the game what it was, right? Had Mojang designed the game from the start, yeah, I don't think it would have ever been like this. I think it wouldn't have ever become popular like this. I think they would have never have even designed this, right? So Notch is still relevant in that sense, that his core design mechanics are what people oftentimes fight for. It's very tough to talk about these kinds of things because it's very hard to talk about any kind of like general sentiment without kind of generalizing. Like, you know that there's like a thing people do say online, but it's always like, well, I specifically don't think that. And you're not, you may not even trying to be trying to strongman people or anything, but you may have just heard that bad argument so many times that you just never heard the better version of it. Alright, let's find out. Oh my god. Bro, I don't even have a village yet. What are you doing? I will say, I don't like how ominous bottles. I don't like the whole ominous bottles thing. I think that that's kind of dumb. Or at least, I don't like, again, having the raids be removed, like as when you kill the guard captain. I think that's dumb. I think, again, it's this like, no, there's no challenge, no extra challenges unless you are 100% optionally willing to undergo them. I don't really love that. Not that there can't be optional challenges, obviously, but not every implemented thing. You can add mandatory challenges that the player has to like overcome and get better at. And Minecraft players, it feels like, at least from what I've seen, are just so resistant to that idea. Alright, probably end it there for today, folks. This is probably going to stay pretty unedited, so you'll see all my yapping in its full glory. Next episode, we will try to get actually more stuff done. I know that wasn't optimal, of course. But I think we talked about some interesting stuff at the very least, so I don't think it was boring. You can consider my what I said, and you can agree or disagree, or maybe bring up something interesting to follow up on. You can make fun of me for my Minecrafting skills. You can do some of these things. I don't know why I said it like that, but yeah. Alright, that's all for today, folks. See ya.